What's up guys? CT Knife Vids back with another knife video. Alright, this video is potentially my most important video on this channel. This is going to be a big one, okay? Because this has been a problem that has been trending around lately. The AKC swinguard switchblade knives, they also came out with Italian stiletto AKCs recently as well, of the clone copies. But basically the AKC clones are starting to trend around a lot more as each day goes on. Okay, it started as a new thing not too long ago, maybe a year, maybe more, but I started noticing it about a year ago. These little clone copies started coming out. Now there are real AKCs, automatic knife company made switchblades from Italy, that are obviously more up in price than the clone copies. But everybody wants in on the action. It's technically legal to put whatever you want on the tang, so it's as long as you call it something different with the initials, it's legal. So be very careful guys. There are some copies and floating around a whole lot right now. I'm gonna tell you what to look for as far as real versus fake. There are many differences to tell, but I'm gonna tell you the most easiest and primary differences to look for between a real AKC and a fake clone AKC. Alright, now it might sound like I'm bashing on the clones a whole bunch. There are some upsides to them, okay, and we're going to talk about that here very briefly, but let's look at one at a time. Okay, in case you can't tell, this one is the real AKC, this one is a fake clone copy. Okay, so if we look at the real AKC here, I'm going to come over here for better lighting. This cool little kind of blackish green scales. I've got this one a long time ago, at least 10 years ago, maybe 11, 12 years ago, something like that, from a knife website, and I don't remember which one, but if we check it out, you're going to see that the tang says AKC Italy on it. And let me get some shadow. There we go, that might make it a little more visible. AKC Italy, with the little circle R in the middle. Okay? Now let me get straight to it. Basically, some differences you want to look for. You might notice that this one is in dagger blade, not bayonet blade. Okay, I'm not sure if they make copies in dagger blade, and if they don't, they probably will in the future. But this blade is very symmetrical. Okay, it is thinner than the copies, and this side of the blade and this side of the blade is evenly split down the middle. The detail in the work is a lot better. All right. And here's a big key thing you can look for. The swingers right here shouldn't be moving basically at all. Mine don't move whatsoever. When you push down, just like if some of you guys might remember the Rizzuto video I made where the fakes pivot a little bit more, same thing with the AKC clones, okay? They don't put as much detail and as much work into them. It's all Chinese made copies. So the swing finger guards will move around a little bit more, and that's going to be a huge indicator for you guys, okay? Another huge thing I look for is the center spring right inside the knife. It is thicker. It's thicker and more strong than the clone copies that I'm going to show you in just a sec here. So it's pretty much the width of the inside of the knife itself, as opposed to like almost a circle. The spring on the copies are almost like a little cylinder. This is like a flat, thicker, stronger spring, as you could say. Okay, and the guards don't move. The blade is nice and symmetrical. Okay, coming over here, taking a look at the copy clones. We'll put this back here so I don't confuse you guys. Real, fake. Okay, the fake ones here. Okay, you can hear the guards a little bit movey, a little bit pivoty. These are a little bit fatter. The handle is fatter. The blade is fatter. Okay, see how it's not very symmetrical? With that center split down the blade, this side is very thin and this side is very, very thick. Alright, let's take a look at the tang. Come back in the shadow so that you guys can see a little bit better. Instead of an R being right in the center of that A, or that knife that's making the letter A, they just put a dot. Okay, and it says AKC Italy. So they're not really claiming to be the company or anything like that. They're just simply putting AKC Italy legally for no reason. So there's no restriction sign on it like the real AKC swing guards have. And I'm going to show a replay of that real quick just to show you an example. So yeah, big indicator there. The blade, like I said, not being symmetrical, and this is a big one. Look at this. Pivoty swing guards. Pivoty finger guards, if you will. Okay, real fat handle. And the spring, look how much thinner that is. It's almost like a cylinder, like I said. I think it is a cylinder, actually. But very thin, very weak spring. Okay? And that's about it. Those are going to be your huge number one indicators. And of course, another number one huge indicator will be the price. Okay? AKCs, it's hard to say what they go for nowadays because it depends on if you really want one, if somebody's really looking for one, or if somebody really doesn't, if they're just getting rid of it, etc., etc. But it varies around maybe 150, maybe 200, something like that. But basically, any swing guard claiming to be under $100, you should suspect it to be a clone. Okay, it should be a red flag right there that it's some kind of Chinese copy. Okay. Their costs should be around 30, 40, 50 bucks, something like that. They might range because they're not absolutely terrible knives, okay? And that's going to be my disclaimer for this video, actually, is that I know I was knocking on these clones and these copies and these forgeries and all that, but keep in mind, these are actually pretty good knives for the price, okay? I'm not going to say where I got mine from. I did get mine for very cheap, but I don't want to hurt other sellers, people who are trying to sell these, even though a lot of people in the knife community despise the people that are selling the Chinese copies. I mean, it is what it is. You know, you're just trying to make a living as well, and you're just trying to make people happy. Again, these are great knives to have as replicas if you cannot afford the real thing, or if you simply don't care to drop that much money on a real one. To you, this is just as good, okay? It's not necessarily going to break on you very easily. It is pretty durable and pretty tough. Got a little bit of the cheesy black marble design. It's really just some like swirl paint or something. These are actually pretty decent. This would be a great like everyday carry knife if you don't want to take your collector item or anything like that for a spin. It actually does have a pretty decent snap to it when it opens, as you may have heard earlier. No blade peak, not that I've ever experienced, but it does seem like it might give some blade peak in the future, as it's very, very pushing against that pin very strong, I can feel. But it's just something I watch out for. But like I said, a really good snap to it. But please do not spend over $100 or $150, anything like that, for something like this, okay? This is, like I said, a $50, maybe $60 knife max. Okay, definitely under $100. Anything more than that, you're getting ripped off if they're giving you a fake AKC, okay? Now, if they're claiming it to be a real AKC and they swear up and down, they say, no, I'm selling you a real AKC, and you just don't feel right about it, you feel a hunch, don't accuse them, don't put them down or anything like that. Just simply walk away. Say, no, thank you, I'm just not comfortable with it, I'm sorry, thank you for your time, thank you for your business, or whatever. And that's more professional, okay? Because I don't want to be at fault for causing any, you know, big issues in the community or anything like that. So this is just something really big that's been going around recently. This was not a problem for the longest time, but now recently I've noticed a lot of people are having problems with these AKCs trending around. I'm not going to drop any names of people who sell them, people who buy them, people who mistake them, anything like that. I am just here to raise awareness, just making sure everybody's on the same page with these guys. Again, these are not terrible knives. Okay, they're actually great. They would be very ideal for carry around in actual use and stuff like that, as opposed to your collector item real AKC switchblade. And it's also kind of your budget knife. If you, like I said, you don't want to drop $200 or $150 on a swing guard. So, okay. So, quick summary. What to look for between the two differences. The swing guard or the finger guards being able to pivot more than the real AKCs. They shouldn't be moving at all. The blade, the bayonet blade or the standard blade being off-centered, being thicker on the sharp side than on the dull side. The dot on the AKC logo instead of the circled R. Little small spring inside of there that it's not quite as strong or as durable. Really thick handle too, if you can see that with a good eye. Let me go ahead and put these side by side next to each other. Okay, they look very similar to the eye that doesn't know what to look for. All right, so just be careful out there as far as getting scammed. Other than that, feel free to buy whatever you want, obviously, but just be aware of what you're buying. That is it. So, okay guys, thank you so much for watching. Plenty of other knife videos on my channel and more knife videos to come in the future. So I appreciate you guys as always. Y'all stay safe out there and keep on collecting. All right, y'all have a good day.